Hi everyone, welcome to Classical Drunks. Thanks for your click. I'm here today with Manny Bulgari. Oh,
Emmanuel, nice to meet you.
And I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for clicking in. So this is the Classical Drunks. This is what we're saying. We're going to make political discourse great again.
Yeah, yeah. Make rationality bay again.
Oh, rationality is bay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what this is going to be and what we're going to talk about kind of on this channel and what we're going to be about. So this is going to be about this channel kind of begun because you and I have seen a definite polarization in politics between the left and right. It's not a bell curve anymore. The moderates are disappearing and everyone is...
It's becoming a reverse of a bell curve.
A reverse bell curve, exactly.
Yeah.
It's become so much polarized. The left and right can't agree on anything anymore. So this podcast or this channel
thing we don't. Yeah, there's going to be multiple things. So
there's going to be lots of things.
Yeah,
we're not
we don't
sure
know yet,
but there's going to be lots
because
of
we're
things.
drunk.
Yeah, that too.
Well, maybe not at this time. What time is it? We're drunched.
Drunched. We are in Ireland, so you know there will be lots of alcohol consumption. Just
this
not
is vodka.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not.
Mom, if you're watching, it's not.
It's not. But yeah. So getting back to it, this podcast is going to be about kind of making a more moderate voice in political discourse. You know, both of us, I think we would consider ourselves fairly moderate on
centrist,
most issues. Centrist, yeah.
I'm radically moderate.
Radically moderate. The radical moderates. Yeah. So, so like I said, we've set this up because we feel that voice needs to be kind of pushed more, and a few kind of values need to be reinserted and reaffirmed back into political discourse.
Yeah, exactly. I like to say, so on that topic, it's not just that the political scene has been polarized. There's this idea that I really like, which I think describes a lot of what we're going to talk about, that it's not really left and right as a linear axis. This is how we usually see things. It's actually a bit more like a horseshoe, the idea of a horseshoe theory, which is to say that if you polarize things, it feels that the far right and the far left are diametrically opposed. But there is a point where if it's actually on a horseshoe, there is a point where there's they couldn't be further away from each other, but at the same time they couldn't be closer to each other.
Yeah.
And we've seen, we could talk about specific issues, but we've seen the far right and the far left agree on certain things in a weird way. The example that I give is Bernie Sanders is virtually indistinguishable from Donald Trump on the issue of trade, for example.
Yes.
And what I found interesting is that people like you and I have a lot more in common now because of that further political divide. You're more centre left, I'm more centre right, but still you and I can both look at the far left and far right and say, okay, they are gaining power in Europe, in America, and we can agree that this is not going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we'll just move on and talk a little bit about ourselves from there for now on. I'll start if that's okay. So my political kind of journey started quite early. I got into politics pretty early on and started reading about politics when I was about 14, 15. I guess, like Manny said, I would be more centre left in my politics. So classical Labour would be where I would have found myself a few years ago. To the point where I was actually considering joining the Labour Party at one point. I've moved away from that now because, again, as we were talking, the Labour Party has actually moved a lot farther to the left than I'm more comfortable with now. So now I guess I would call myself, again, politically homeless, which is, you're going to hear that phrase a lot. In my spare time as well, I play video games and I have a job working for a giant evil pharmaceutical corporation. So yeah, Manny, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, kind of like you feel politically homeless because I when I was younger, I was a lot more. There's a saying that I like, which is, if you're not a socialist in your 20s, you have no heart, and if you're not a conservative when you're 50, then you have no brain. I've done that, but over the span of maybe 5 years, so essentially. So when I was younger, I was definitely very to the left. There are pictures of me. If you do a little bit of digging on Facebook, there are pictures of me leafleting for the French Green Party. Marching against GMO and stuff like that. Then I got into kind of Milton Friedman type of free market economics. What was the breakup point for me is even though I was very left, I was never opposed to entrepreneurship. I work in the IT sector. I'm a software developer, so there's a very strong entrepreneurial culture there, and we don't see. It's a sector in which we don't see capitalism in itself as a bad thing. We just kind of look at a case-by-case basis and say, well, there are good companies and bad companies. And I always had that at the back of my mind, even when I was like a far lefty. And I saw the other Greens being very opposed to capitalism as a whole. There's this saying, the Greens are watermelons. They're green on the outside, but if you just start scratching, they're very red. And I think that's true to a certain extent. And if you really talk to them, not publicly, they'd be willing to admit it. So that's where I started to kind of look at different opinions. I've moved a lot politically. I'm definitely more kind of center right, free market, libertarian type of politics now. Doesn't mean that I want a revolution where we just abolish the state and have private companies to take care of our security. Does not mean either that I'm opposed to. I'm still very much in favor of open immigration and gay rights. So that's why I kind of consider myself to be a bit of a politically homeless. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is what I do from a political standpoint. Outside of that, as I said, during the day I'm a software developer for a big American company, and I like cats.
He has 2 adorable cats. You may see them wander in and out of frame.
Or at least hear them if you pay attention enough to the background noise. Or
you might hear them scratching things. They like to destroy furniture from what I've seen.
Speaking of which, little bastard.
So I guess we'll kind of move on to, look at him there. Oh my god. That's one of them.
If you're listening to us and not watching the video, you've missed an opportunity to look at a beautiful cat being tortured.
Which is why you should go check us out on YouTube also.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think we'll move on now to kind of our mission statement and what this channel is going to talk about and what our kind of core values will be. Yeah. Values that both the left and the right have kind of let go to the wayside, really. So we'll just rifle through a few of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. So what I was just gonna say, what I like to say is maybe I think that you and I both subscribe to the idea of maybe classical liberalism in a sense that it's an idea that it's in the name. It's classical liberalism, so it's kind of old and it's evolved since to become the left-wing interpretation of liberalism has evolved, the right-wing interpretation of liberalism has evolved. But if you look at classical liberals, you'll have some kind of a set of core values that you and I would both, at least, kind of a starting point that unite us in that sense.
Exactly. We can rifle through one or two of them, and we'll expand on these in future episodes.
Sure.
Definitely. But just to list them off, like freedom of speech and expression would probably be the major core one, because that
unapologetically so.
Like that is not on the table for discussion at all in this thing. That is out there.
Maybe for just to explain very basically for one reason, and there's a psychologist who put it very well. He said that free speech is how we settle disagreement in a non-violent way. If societies don't have free speech, they still have to settle disagreement, but they do it in a violent way, where it's a violent confrontation, dictatorships, prisons, and etc. This is how you set and free speech, and it can go, even though you'll have people denying the Holocaust and all that, but at least it's a tool that we use in society to settle disagreement. And this is the value. It's not just about being able to say that the concentration camps were a hoax. It's about being able to settle disagreement in a complex society.
Mm-hmm. I think another core value we could move on to is equality before the law, and the hopeful destruction of identity politics one day.
Yes.
Which identity politics seems to be completely against the idea of equality before the law.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Because and it's not news. The thing is, because equality has multiple interpretations, and you can say I'm for equality, and the person in front of you is going to say I'm for equality, and you're not even talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to specify what we're talking about really is equality before the law. That is to say, two same people, no matter what their birth characteristics is, skin color, gender, you name it, they have to have the same rights. They have access to the same, they are under the same law. And that's to be opposed with equality of outcome, the sort of kind of far left equality. When they say equality, they mean people have to be the same amount of wealth, the same amount of, education, etc. And you have to pick one. You cannot treat people the same. People are different. They have different inspirations. They have different preferences. They're going to end up in different passes of life. And if you're not okay with that, then you have to undo with having the law treating people equally.
Mm-hmm. And the final kind of big one, I would say, would be evidence-based policy and data-based policy.
Rational inquiry.
And rational inquiry.
In a larger sense of the term, yeah.
Absolutely, which would lead to lots of things, rational-based policy in terms of economics. Secularism would be a big one. We are both godless heathens. We should probably point that out.
Yeah.
So we are very pro the idea of secularism, and that the state should just stay out of the religion game in general.
Absolutely. And it's a very important in a sense because I think that we've seen that with both the left and the right, the far left and the far right, that both are replacing facts by feelings. They are looking at and on both sides of the aisle. Have you ever talked to a right winger about immigration? Really isn't about fact. I have an entire book just based on what the research is on immigration. This is completely at 180 degrees from what you'll hear from those guys. They're talking about their feelings, not about facts. Just as the left wing is when we're talking about environmental policies, when they think about renewables, it's all based on feelings. It's not based on facts, and this is something that worries us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Again, you see it with the same thing, with like you were saying, environmentalism and the faux greens.
Well, you're into healthcare. This is a big topic as well, where it's a lot about feelings and not really about what's the most efficient? Should we allow this drug? What price? This is not a rational way. We don't approach healthcare in a rational manner.
No, we don't. We do base it on feelings, which I totally understand the motivations behind it, because you are dealing with, potentially your family or yourself. So I can totally see why it's very easy especially with healthcare, how feelings take over rationality.
Which is, it's not to say that
and I'm sure both of us would be very susceptible to be victims of that.
And exactly. I mean, if you're in a situation of poverty, I can definitely understand. It does not mean that we're not empathizing with those people. Mm-hmm. I can understand that if you're in a situation of poverty, and if I come to you, and maybe we'll talk about it later, but if I come to you and say, raising the minimum wage is going to cost you your job, it's not good as a whole, you're going to get very upset because you're in a situation where you have very little income, and you see that raise of minimum wage is an opportunity for you. You're not thinking of it rationally, looking at the research, what it says on the topic, and maybe let's just say for a second admit that my analysis is correct, and it's actually worse off. You're going to be worse off for you. I can definitely understand why you would be upset about me saying that raising the minimum wage is a bad thing, because to you it feels, for very good reason, it feels that it would be a positive, and this is kind of what I mean. It's like, well, sometimes your feelings can be deceiving. Mm-hmm. Is that good? Yeah, just to point out, I'm French. Don't make fun of my English, okay?
It's fine. You can make fun of his English in the comments. I have no expectation that they will not make fun of your
weird accent.
Fun of your weird accent in the comments.
Yeah.
We should have let them guess. We should have let them see if they could.
Come on, my name is not.
Oh, true. We did.
Pablo, whatever, Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My name is very strange. My name is Aaron, and I have a weird second name, Buki. So it's very weird. It's a weird one. I don't even know where it comes from.
Well, Aaron is not unusual in Ireland, so.
Emmanuel isn't that weird either.
Go on.
Okay, it's fairly weird in Ireland, yeah. So, we should point out as well. You're one of the filthy immigrants stealing our jobs, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. and I'm the reason why you guys don't have a job. I'm the reason why housing is so expensive.
Yeah. Well, you are the reason why housing is so expensive.
I own half of Dublin because I'm so rich.
That is empirically true.
Yeah.
You are the reason housing is so expensive.
At the margin.
At the margin. So we would just really like to welcome you to the channel.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what we're about. We hope you tune in for our next big episode.
We have a lot of things coming down the pipeline. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we hope it's going to be fun. But at least, I think that's really why we wanted to do that. It's at least because, if 20 years down the line there's a new Hitler in town, at least we can say, well, we've done something. We had like a YouTube channel or something.
We tried in vain.
So yeah, we wanted really to put it out there. I think that as I said, I think the center people in the center will find that they have a lot more with that polarization happening. They have a lot more in common that they maybe previously had. So yeah. Anyways,
see ya.
Don't forget to subscribe. See ya next time.